On the night of July 13, 1977, New York City was plunged into total darkness. A city known for its constant hustle and bustle, with its glowing skyline and never-ending energy, suddenly came to a halt. The 1977 blackout lasted for a staggering 25 hours, leaving millions without power and disrupting the everyday life of one of the most iconic cities in the world. But the true mystery of the blackout wasn't just the widespread loss of power. It was the unexpected chain of events that followed and the lingering questions about its causes, its impact, and the strange, eerie incidents that seemed to surround it. While many remember the blackout as a devastating time of looting, chaos, and fear, others recall the unsettling events that followed. Was the blackout simply an unfortunate accident, a case of faulty equipment, or was there something more mysterious at play? Conspiracy theories, rumors, and strange occurrences emerged in the days following the blackout, leaving New Yorkers and the world to wonder if there was more to the night the world went dark than met the eye. In this exploration, we'll examine the events of that fateful night, the theories that arose in its aftermath, and the lasting impact of one of the most unusual moments in modern urban history. 1. The blackout. A city plunged into darkness. New York City, in 1977, was a city on edge. The city had already been grappling with an escalating crime rate, economic difficulties, and a sense of instability. The summer of 1977 was one of the hottest on record, with temperatures soaring and power demands at an all-time high. The energy grid was under strain, and the New York Power Authority (NYPA) had been managing the electrical demands in the best way it could. On July 13th, at around 9 p.m., disaster struck. The electrical system, already fragile, was pushed beyond its limits when a series of lightning strikes caused a power surge that led to the failure of several critical transmission lines. In an instant, the entire city went dark, with more than 9 million people affected. The blackout wasn't just a minor inconvenience. It was a catastrophic event that disrupted life in nearly every corner of the city. The chain reaction of events. Since the power went out, the immediate effects were severe. Elevators and skyscrapers stopped, trapping people inside. Traffic lights went out, turning busy intersections into chaotic, dangerous areas. The subway system, the lifeline of New York City, ground to a halt, stranding passengers in dark, sweltering tunnels. Hospitals, though equipped with backup generators, faced severe strain, and emergency services were stretched thin. However, in the midst of the darkness, something unexpected began to unfold. As the night progressed, the power outage didn't just cause disruption, it triggered a wave of lawlessness. It began in pockets of the Bronx, but soon spread throughout the city as looting and vandalism broke out. Stores were ransacked, windows smashed, and neighborhoods descended into anarchy. What was initially a technical failure soon became a test of social order, as police struggled to restore order amidst the widespread chaos. By morning, the city was left with more than just physical damage. There was a growing sense of unease. The looting and the sense of dread. The looting was one of the most defining aspects of the blackout. While some looted out of desperation, many others appeared to do so opportunistically, taking advantage of the chaos to seize anything they could. Electronics, clothes, jewelry, nothing was safe from the frenzy. In some neighborhoods, the looting was so widespread that it became difficult for law enforcement to respond effectively. Amidst the chaos, many residents of the city were left feeling a sense of dread. The city that never sleeps had gone quiet, but this silence was pregnant with an unsettling energy. People reported hearing strange noises, screams, shouts, the sound of sirens, and seeing figures moving in the shadows. It was as if the darkness had unleashed something more primal within the city's inhabitants. Was this just the result of the power outage? Or was there something more sinister about this particular blackout? 2. Theories surrounding the 1977 blackout. While the official explanation for the blackout points to a series of lightning strikes and technical failures, many people have questioned whether there was more at play. Theories about the true cause of the blackout range from the mundane to the more fantastical, with some even suggesting that it was part of a grander, more mysterious conspiracy. Below, we will explore some of the most prominent theories that have emerged in the aftermath of the blackout. The conspiracy theory, a deliberate act. One of the most persistent theories surrounding the blackout is the idea that it wasn't just an accident but a deliberate act. Some conspiracy theorists have suggested that the blackout was engineered, either by an external group or even by those within the city's power structure, as a way to test the city's response to a major crisis. According to this theory, the chaos that followed the blackout, the looting, the fear, and the sense of disorder was not just an inevitable result of a power failure, but part of a larger plan to destabilize the city. Proponents of this theory argue that the power grid was already known to be fragile, and that there were signs indicating that a major power failure was imminent. The suggestion is that those in power were aware of the impending failure and either let it happen, or even helped trigger it in order to study its effects on the populace, or perhaps even to enact a form B. Economic factors and power struggles. Another theory focuses on the economic struggles of the time. In the mid-1970s, New York City was facing severe financial difficulties, with a nearly bankrupt government, rising crime rates, and social unrest. Some have argued that the blackout could have been a consequence of economic strain on the city's infrastructure. The energy grid was not adequately maintained, and the massive power failure may have been an inevitable result of underinvestment in the system, exacerbated by extreme weather and overuse. Additionally, there were claims that the blackout could have been an unintended consequence of political infighting or corporate mismanagement. Some experts suggested that the blackout was the result of a breakdown in communication or a lack of proper contingency planning within the city's utility systems. C. The supernatural or paranormal explanation. While the official story of the blackout is rooted in electrical engineering and weather-related events, there are those who have suggested that there might have been something more supernatural or paranormal at play. The events surrounding the blackout, particularly the strange occurrences reported in the days following, have led some to speculate that there was a hidden, darker force responsible for the disturbance. Reports of eerie phenomena, such as unexplained noises, strange figures appearing in the darkness, and feelings of dread or foreboding, added to the mystery. Some believe that the blackout was a moment when the veil between the living and the dead became thinner, allowing for paranormal activity to seep through. Whether the cause of the blackout was truly supernatural, or whether it was merely a series of coincidences, the sense of mystery that surrounded the event has contributed to its enduring legacy in popular culture. 3. The aftermath and the legacy of the 1977 blackout. While the immediate aftermath of the blackout was filled with uncertainty, fear, and anger, the long-term effects of the event were equally profound. It wasn't just the material damage, the destruction of property, and loss of goods, but the psychological impact on the city and its residents. Social and economic impact. In the wake of the blackout, the city had to recover from both the physical and psychological damage. New York City had always been a place of resilience, but the events of that night left an indelible mark on its psyche. Businesses were forced to rebuild, insurance claims flooded in, and residents were left grappling with the fear that something like this could happen again. The sense of fear and loss of control was particularly pronounced in the Bronx and other marginalized neighborhoods, where the looting and violence were most intense. These areas had long been struggling with poverty and disinvestment, and the blackout underscored the social and economic divides that existed in the city. B. A city forever changed in many ways. The 1977 blackout marked the end of an era in New York City. It was the last of a series of crises that seemed to define the city during the 1970s. The fear and chaos of that night created a moment of reflection on what it meant to live in a city that was on the brink of collapse. But it also served as a catalyst for change. New York City would eventually begin to recover, ushering in a new era of political and economic stability, though the memories of the blackout continued to linger. For conclusion, the dark legacy of July 13, 1977. The 1977 blackout remains one of the most mysterious and unsettling events in the history of New York City. Whether viewed as an accident, a conspiracy, or something more inexplicable, the blackout left a deep mark on the collective memory of the city's residents. The chaos, the fear, the strange occurrences, all of these things continue to provoke questions about the true nature of the event. For many, the blackout is a reminder of how fragile our modern systems are, and how quickly they can break down. But for others, it is an enduring mystery, a night when the world went dark in more ways than one.